I am Anna Seawold, and this is Authentic Parenting, a podcast about personal development in the context of parenting, where I explore how you can find more calm, connection, and joy in parenting through the process of self-discovery and inner growth with a trauma-informed lens. I'm a parent educator, and my mission is to help children by helping parents. The motto of this podcast is raising our children, growing ourselves. Today, an on-air coaching call. I am helping Kara, a new mom of a 1-year-old girl. As a modern mom, Kara is overwhelmed with the amount of parenting information and advice that is out there. When she has a question, she tends to do a lot of research. However, sifting through conflicting information leads to more confusion, overwhelm, and self-doubt. She questions whether she's doing it right. For this call, Kara has several practical questions. When is the right age for sending a toddler to daycare? When should she wean her baby from breastfeeding? Is it okay to pick up babies when they cry? Or wait 15 minutes before responding? How about sleep training? Kara is also faced with a dilemma: to return to work or to stay home with her baby. It turns out this is an emotional territory for her. We talk about trusting yourself, listening to your own voice, and growing confidence as a parent. You have to listen to the episode to find out what advice I offered Kara. To apply for an on-air coaching call, please fill out a short application that you can find at authenticparenting.com/coaching. Coaching calls are a one-time, unscripted sessions. They are free and there are no prerequisites, no further commitments or obligations involved. If you are intimidated to do an on-air coaching call but still have parenting questions that you would like for me to answer them, you can submit your questions by email at info@authenticparenting.com, or you can call the number 732-763-2576 and leave a voicemail. Your question will be answered during one of our special episodes. If you would like to work with me, I would be only happy to support you on your parenting journey. As a listener of the podcast, you always receive a discount, a 10% off on all my coaching services. To learn more, visit authenticparenting.com/services. If you're on the fence, if you have some questions, you can schedule a 15-minute chat right on my website, and I will be happy to answer any questions you may have. Don't be alone with your parenting challenges, especially during these unprecedented and challenging times. Before we get to the show, I would like to suggest a few past episodes that complement the theme and topics of today's episode. Episode 214, The Performance Trap of Modern Motherhood. This is an on-air coaching call with Jackie. Episode 194, The Dark Side of Motherhood. This is an episode with me. Episode 226, Practicing Conscious Parenting with Bridget Miller. And episode 208, How to Be a Confident Parent with Vanessa Lapointe. There are also two other episodes, episode 210 and 211, that I would recommend. They're titled, Where Are They Now? I circle back with all the participants of the past on-air coaching calls, and they provide some updates. For your convenience, I have created a playlist on Spotify called On-Air Coaching Calls of Authentic Parenting. And now, please enjoy this on-air coaching call with Kara. Hi, Kara. Welcome to the podcast. Thanks for joining me for this on-air coaching call.
Hi, Anna. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm very excited to hear what you got for us. Tell us a little bit about yourself and, how many children you have, what their ages are, and then we'll get started.
I am a full-time mom. I have a 1-year-old little girl who's starting to walk and to talk, and she's really becoming a little bit of a toddler now. She's still pretty tiny, so I do consider her a baby, but she is growing up right now. Previously, I was a professional, but due to COVID and having the baby, I've taken this time off to just take care of her myself. And it's been a really amazing experience, definitely challenging and incredibly rewarding. So I'm just looking for, tips and tools to continue to, I don't know, work on this, work on motherhood, as I see that it's it's a marathon. It's just ongoing. Once you think you've figured something out, there's always something new, a new issue that comes to the surface. So yeah, that's me.
Very good. I think adopting that mentality right from the beginning of motherhood is a good idea, because the only thing that's going to be constant is going to be the change. And when you are in a current stage of parenthood, you will learn that, okay, I got this. I, handle those challenges. You learn new skills. Then a new milestone happens, a new developmental stage, and it throws everything off, especially in the beginning years, toddler, preschool age years. The growth happens very quickly and rapidly in the brain in general. So I want you to embrace that. And instead of saying, wow, I'm not good enough, I had routines and skills that doesn't apply now, and question yourself, I want you to know that this is okay, this is normal, and you need to constantly calibrate, recalibrate, adjust, and readjust to the needs, the growing needs of your child. You're going to change as a parent. And that's the beauty of parenthood. You're constantly evolving and growing and practicing the things that you learn. And, the challenges that were present yesterday may not be present today or tomorrow. And that's okay. I think you're starting out great if you're coming to this journey with that mindset and mentality, then you can expect the change.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that the hardest thing is that nowadays there's so much information out there that if she breaks out of a routine and I don't have the answer for it automatically, I feel like I'm doing something wrong and that I'm missing out on the right answer. For example, her sleeping has been a really big issue from the get-go. And anytime she is going through a regression or we're putting her in a new situation and she's uncomfortable and I can't get her to get on a good schedule, I just beat myself up because I feel like the answer is out there and I just don't have time to find it. And I'm not giving her all the tools that she needs in order to be successful. So I'm sort of trying to balance between a modern day mom with all this information and what comes naturally. When she cries, I just want to take care of her. I want to automatically go and help her. But all this science is sort of saying wait a little, she'll need to figure it out. Wait a few minutes here, wait a few minutes there. And that's when I sort of go a little crazy, when I go back and forth between the science and my maternal instinct.
Yeah, that's a hard challenge, given the fact that we have so much information, blogs, podcasts, websites. It's insane how it's a science, this whole parenting. But we also need to remember that parenting is such a natural thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we learn to not trust our instincts. And I'm not saying that all of us learn to be instinctive and great right from the get-go. That's not what I'm trying to say. But if you listen to the outside noise, outside voices a lot, you lose your own. What I
Mm-hmm.
want parents to do is to also maintain their own voice, because you ultimately are the expert on your child. I think it's great to have information, but an overload of information is going to make you more doubtful and less confident as a parent. And I think you need to practice learning to your intuition, to your heart more. With that said, it's a good idea to learn about attachment. It's good to know, certain strategies, but you also need to learn and trust yourself, because let's say I am quote unquote the expert out there, but you know your family the best. You know your capacity, your internal resources, how you handle stress, what's going on in your child's life. Like, no expert, unless I come and live with you, no one can give you the answers. And honestly, I don't think there are right or wrong answers out there. Everybody's trying to do their best with the awareness, with the resources, the support that they have. And so being, gentle on yourself also, and not worrying that, wow, the right answer is there and I'm not getting it. When you focus on that, then you're missing out on the present moment and parenting your child. One book I want to recommend that is science and research based and can answer some of the major issues related to baby rearing is written by Tina Payne Bryson, who was a guest on the podcast. She's also the co-author with Dan Siegel of like 4 or 5 parenting books. She's a very well-respected professional, and she has written her own book. It's called Bottom Line Baby. And she answers basically all those questions about breastfeeding, what's good, what's bad. She dives into the research and gives you the bottom line of everything regarding babies, whether it's co-sleeping, sleeping, nursing. So I would highly recommend that book as a resource. It will take, your anxieties away, hopefully. Because when you are researching and looking outside for answers, you may not find it, and it may create more anxiety, right?
Oh, absolutely. Because it's like anytime I do have a free moment, I want to do something I like enjoyable for myself. Like I'd rather watch a show or like go on a bike ride instead of diving into research that just makes me so frustrated. Like I'm sitting on my phone, just typing things in, like I'm just Googling like at the moment of when she's like not napping properly or not sleeping well. I'm just like, I'm doing it in such a stressful way that it just makes everything so much worse. So thank you. That I'm really excited to check this out.
And you know what? When you're stressful, when a mom is stressful, the baby senses the stress, the anxiety, and they become dysregulated. So your internal states are coordinated because you live together. It's highly contagious. Our emotions are highly contagious. So if you're stressed out, your baby is not going to be calm and relaxed and peaceful. She's also going to be feeling anxious. So instead of, spending your time and attention on doing those things that you think are going to be helpful, it's best to just chill and relax and be in the moment and enjoy. There is no set standards, how long and how much your child is going to nap. It's going to be different for each baby. I mean, there are metrics and standards, your toddler has to sleep 12 hours and stuff like that. But your lifestyle is different, especially with COVID. We're not going places. It depends how much stimulation your child gets. And also sleep is one of those things. at least in the beginning of childhood, the toddler years, preschool years, it's a moving target. You're not going to nail it, So you want to be, the more you chase sleep and the more rigid you become and try to create rigid routines, you're going to fail. So be a little easy, free flow, and embrace that it will happen. And the more relaxed you are around sleep, the better. Have a routine around bedtime and nap time, but don't be so obsessed if it doesn't happen.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. Because I'm always seesawing. Like sometimes like I'm able to just be relaxed and confident about it. And other times I'm a little crazy and neurotic. But I'm happy to hear you say that it's it's not, and especially you mentioned like COVID and her not being able to be as stimulated as, let's say, she were to be if there weren't COVID. That's a very interesting point, that they're missing out on like such energy sucking activities that would help her sleep more if there weren't any COVID. That's very interesting. But yeah, I appreciate that.
And also you probably have noticed maybe sleeping patterns in yourself, right? When people feel depressed, or highly stressed, their sleep patterns shift. Either you sleep a lot or you have completely wacky sleep. You get up at odd hours, you can't fall asleep. Everybody has their own patterns. It's related to the cortisol level, the sleep and the stress level. It's like related to that. But if you could have a nice routine for your toddler and you have pretty similar day-to-day activities from day to day, not overstimulated, not understimulated, and you can be in control of that. And of course, there are going to be days that you're going to go to a birthday party, then to a mall, then to whatever. You're going to have those days too. And you're going to have days when it's completely low stimulation, and you're going to see the impact in your child. And that's okay too. So, and the baby's brain develops so rapidly in the first 3-4 years of life. When they hit the new milestone, when they're learning language, or they're invisible milestones that you may not see, but the changes are happening in the child's brain, that's going to impact their sleep because the brain is processing the new information. When you install a new update on your phone or iOS, whatever updates, the baby's brain is updating constantly, and it's going to impact how they sleep. So don't worry too much and obsess over sleep, because it's not something you can control and be in control of,
My God, it's such a relief to hear you say that, because I really felt I've taken this for the past few months. I've just been blaming myself so much. And it's so, it hurts my body. It hurts me when I blame myself so intensely for the sleep, because I guess I'm sort of, from what I'm saying, I am a bit of an empath in that I do absorb like people around me. If they're stressed out or angry, like it hurts my soul. Like I just feel it and it's very painful. And so to have my child be like when she's crying or when she's stressed out because the sleeping isn't going well, it's like it's been so painful to me to go through this. So knowing that it's not in my control is a huge relief, honestly. Like this has been my Everest, and to know that I could sort of be a little kinder to myself is really nice.
And the more relaxed you are around the sleep, it will naturally come. It's like when you chase a butterfly, it's going to go away. But if you sit there, the butterfly may come and land on your nose. And so sleep is like that for adults and for kids. The more we push it away. But the more relaxed you are and easy, it will come. A tired baby will sleep. Trust me, they will not fight.
Yeah.
And it's a natural thing. And
Yeah.
your emotional state plays a huge role. If you're more relaxed, then you can sing a lullaby together, you can lie down and relax, and it would be a lot easier. But if you're focused on, this baby has to sleep, this baby has to nap, oh my gosh, it's been a long time, I haven't done this, I'm a bad parent, they say that, and then you fall into that trap, and it's not
Yes.
helpful. I remember when my daughter
No.
was 2 years old, she quit naps. That's it. And I'm like, no, I need my me time. You have to sleep. And I was so frustrated because I did everything in my power, from singing lullabies, reading books, lying down with her. And it was taking me about 2 hours to sort of make her take a nap. And then I said, why am I torturing her and myself? This is not going to work. I have to accept the fact that she quit napping, period. That's it. And she was 2 years old. Some babies nap until they're 5 years old. So, you can't be stuck and fixated on this idea. It's going to create more harm and frustration.
Amazing. Oh, thank you so much. This is already so very helpful.
Okay, good.
I really needed to hear that. Yeah.
You can call me anytime. I'll give you this kind of pep talk.
Thank you. Thank you. No, and it's the same pep talk that I'm getting from my parents, but it just, again, like as a modern mom, to have all the information out there saying one thing, and like, I needed I needed someone else to sort of help me recognize that it's all okay. Yeah. I need an outside source.
It takes so much effort to screw up and mess up a child, it's like from a parent's perspective, just trust that you are doing all right. Gain confidence in that. That's a good skill to cultivate from a young age. Well, you're a young mom from early motherhood, to trust in yourself, to know that even if you don't have all the answers, you're still a good parent for your kid. Your love, your compassion, your presence should be enough in most of the cases. That's the best medicine. But if you look outside, you're always going to feel less than, that you're not doing your best. Those other moms are killing. They have, on Instagram, I see sometimes, moms who are so put together with fake eyelashes and makeup and nicely dressed and organized activity for their toddler. And I feel bad for other moms whose life is more real, and you compare yourself, but that's not the reality.
No. So I actually made a conscious choice to, I don't go on Instagram. I just don't even go on that. I think it's too, especially when I'm going through this time of constant insecurity, I just totally turned it off. And it's been really nice. So I definitely recommend it for those who are having a hard time.
I agree.
It definitely keeps me in my world with my baby, and I love it.
That's what you need to focus, to develop that loving, beautiful attachment relationship with your daughter, by being present, by getting to know your child, your daughter's cues, the different types of cries, when it's a cry for hunger, when it's a cry for discomfort, when she's crying in a specific way, that means she's overly tired, or there is a physical discomfort. Her diaper is not, I don't know, maybe it's itchy, or there is different cries. If you're not present, you're going to miss out on those cues. Nature has given you this beautiful baby, and you're the mom for this baby. If you don't have depression, postpartum, anything like that, you should be able to navigate this pretty naturally. And, you can find a few reliable resources for yourself to get inspired, to gain some parenting tips and things like that. And that's enough, you need to know who to trust, how much, and be present.
Yeah, that sounds like the recipe. The recipe for the modern day mom.
Yeah, I think it's tough being a modern day mom, for sure. So what other challenges are you facing as a modern mom?
Oh, as a modern mom. So let's see. So I guess the newest thing that's come up is I might be going back to work. I'm not 100% sure yet, but my old employer has sort of reached out to see if I'm available to work on some projects, and and I wasn't looking for it, but it's possible that I would be going back to work. And so I know that this is a really hot topic, especially with COVID and all these moms working from home while they're taking care of their kids. It's like a bit scary for me to think about it, but this is a really good opportunity if I do plan to develop my career. And I'm just starting to think about it, and I'm excited and I'm flattered that they thought of me. But I'm definitely a little emotional when it comes to thinking of someone else taking care of my daughter every day. Or her, putting her in school, like not seeing her every day. I'm getting choked up thinking about it right now. So yeah, just sort of how I could go back to I guess, building myself professionally while with this new person in my life.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very difficult choice, and no one can tell you what to do in this situation, unfortunately.
Hmm.
You have to know why you're making that decision. If you absolutely need the finances, or if this is critical in your career. Some careers are, right? If you have a big gap, then you're falling behind. Like, you need to be logical about this uh, in terms of your
Hmm.
career, because it might be detrimental, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
And I mean, is staying at home and being the sole caregiver for your daughter, it's an emotional step. No matter what, it's always going to be
Hmm.
emotional. If you leave your daughter, you're going to have mommy guilt. And even if you're home, you're going to face different kinds of emotions and guilt.
Yeah.
Having other people taking care of your daughter, so many parents have done it over the course of our history. And also there
Right.
is the attachment research. They say, you have to be with your kid, like, to have a primary attachment figure is good before they develop, before the age of 3. There's so much stuff out there.
Hmm.
But again, ultimately you have to make that decision. And why is this important to you? Going back to work, is it important for your identity not to lose yourself in motherhood and also have this? Maybe that may give you more encouragement to be the best mom that you can, because you're balancing motherhood and career. It's a
Yeah.
difficult thing. So
Yeah. And it's definitely a very, like, I don't know, again, like a modern day, like concern and issue. I feel like this is over, people before women, I don't know, people just, this is a very hot topic, and it's such an emotional topic too. And we're still just figuring this out. And it's just, yeah, it's very interesting. It's very emotional. Um, yeah.
what when you say it's emotional, what rises for you? What's the emotional part?
My throat like tightens up, and I just, I guess it's just like, the, like a little bit of a fear of change in, yeah, fear of change. And like, and definitely like, she's still nursing, so she's still like, she's very attached to me. So the thought of her, I know she'd be fine if I weren't like with her all the time. Like, I know that when she's with my mom, or and I'm not around, she's still like a great little person. It's just, I guess, under like, whew, it's recognizing that she's not my baby. She's not part of me. She's like her own person.
Hmm.
And that's really intense.
Sorry, sweetheart. I wish I could give you a hug.
It's okay. No, this is like, I guess it's important that I'm recognizing all this now before I make this decision, and or before I yeah, start separating ourselves. And I guess if I do decide to go back to work, I'm happy that I'm recognizing it so that I could make the best of the time we have together all day.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
separation doesn't mean you're neglecting her, you know?
Right.
Know
Mhm.
that you're still her mom.
Mhm. Oh yeah, it's I always thought it was very weird that like how we like send our how we like when I was in school, I always thought how weird it was how long I was in school compared to how long I was at home during the day. Like how
It
I was in
is
school most of the day. It's so weird.
it is weird.
Yeah.
You're not mistaken.
Yeah.
It is weird. The schools exist so that parents can work in this modern society where there is no help for the parent. And with this pandemic, with remote learning, it's all messed up.
Right.
Because the babysitting service that the school provides is no longer there, and people are losing themselves. No one was ready for this. And we don't have to send our children to school for 6 hours a day or longer. Even if it's a daycare, it's a lot longer than than middle school or grade school. And if you recognize that, that's a painful realization. But if you lived in a culture, in a society where there were grandmas, grandpas, aunts and uncles, you had your hierarchical family structure that is pretty natural to humans, it would be a lot easier for you to go to work, come back, and there would be food. But now it's all on your shoulders. You have to primary caregiver, you have to clean and cook and take care of everybody's needs. And so it's a lot on a modern parent without the support system of the natural, the way the humans need to operate. And so there are dilemmas like this, people to go to work or not to go to work. It's hard. It's a difficult decision. And no one can say, this is best for you. Is it good for your daughter to have you nearby? Of course it is, right? And it's good for you too. It sounds like you have so much emotion around this with the separation and the fear. And it's understandable. You need to honor that. It's natural. It's natural.
We're fighting a lot against our natural, like we're like modern moms. It's fighting a lot against our natural instincts, I think. And so it makes us very emotional. It makes us feel a lot of tough feelings. And I guess it's making us really tough people. Like not that we'll be able to, I think, feel like we've tackled it. I feel like it's definitely going to be another kind of ongoing thing we continue to learn, but I guess it's something we could be impressed with ourselves for. Like we're going against nature, which is tough, but I guess it means that we're tough too.
Well, yes and no, because it has its upside and downsides, right? If children have emotional needs and they have attachment needs, if they're not met from a very beginning, like especially the first year of life is very, very important. There's a lot of research on the first few years of life. What makes a person resilient is if you had caring, compassionate attachment figures in the first year of your life. You can have two individuals. Let's say individual A had a loving, caring, nurturing upbringing the first year of life. And then another individual B who didn't have that loving, caregiving, compassionate, nurturing, attuned upbringing the first year of life for whatever reason. Not because the mother went to work, because the mother was sick, the father was dead. There could be so many variations, right? What happens to individual number one when they hit a lot of adversities and challenges later in life, and what happens to the second person when they hit adversities and challenges later in life, what the outcome is strikingly different. The person who had a good
Mm.
foundation right from the beginning is more resilient and handles those things differently than the person who didn't have this rock solid foundation right from the start. There is research about
Mhm.
this. So it is important to care and nurture for our children, but also the parent has to be available, sensitive. You need to have support for yourself to care for your baby, because if you are there physically but not present, it's
Mhm.
equally harmful for your kid. So this is a very nuanced topic. Is it good if your children have in their life other attachment figures? Of course it is. It enriches their relational repertoire, right? It's so you need to see what's happening here, what's at stake, what are you losing, what are you gaining when you make the decision to go back to work. What are the
Mhm.
gains and what are the losses? Because either way you're going to have gains and losses. How
Mhm.
What's the trade-off, what you settle for is up to you.
Mhm. Okay.
you
Yeah,
know
I'm
you
definitely gonna
know
have to let this simmer. Yeah.
mm-hmm.
And yeah, and also I'll have to just be like a little, yeah, I have to give myself be a little kinder and let myself know that it's a little bit more flexible than like if I do decide to go back to work feeling guilty all the time. Like there's maybe hopefully I could find a median where I'm still able to do both. Um yeah. I guess
Mm-hmm.
I won't know unless I really try.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, is it absolutely necessary for you to go to work and miss this opportunity, or miss this opportunity will be catastrophic for your life? Like if you were to cold heartedly, logically think about it, let's move the emotions aside.
Hmm. If I had to think about it, I do plan to do if I do plan to go back into the workforce, it is pretty important that I do take this opportunity. Aside from like my a resume gap, this company that I was at before, they it was an incredible. It's a really great learning experience working among like really top creative professionals, and so the experience would be tremendous, and to be given this opportunity with this gap, it would be tough to turn down. That being said, I mean, I know that some there people have situations where it's worse, but it would be a remote work from home position. So hopefully I'd be able to find a way to maybe, I don't know, have a nanny that I trust or afford a nanny that I trust. And so I'd be able to see her throughout the day. That being said, she is I don't know if I mentioned this, but she is pretty attached to me, and rightfully so. I mean, I don't know if it's because she's going through these different transitions. She's starting to walk, her teeth are coming in, but she does look to nurse on me for comfort, and I'm definitely like I'm trying to change my mindset around that so that I can enjoy it and not fight it, because I guess like as a modern mom, like I feel a little like I'm not in control when she does grab at my shirt throughout the day. I'm trying to see it as like, okay, I'm trying to be kind about it. I see it, she needs some comfort. I'll give her a little comfort. I'll just try to distract her to see if she really needs it. But she is a bit attached. So like the thought of going from like 0 to 100 by if I had to go into an office, if she had to go into daycare and us not see each other all day, like that would be really tough. So I guess it's not it's sort of like it's a nice way to sort of ease back into work, because I imagine I would be going back to work at some point, whether it's when she's fully in preschool or
Mhm.
elementary or something. But I do imagine I would have to go back at some point.
Yeah, I mean,
But
being
yeah.
attached is a very natural and normal thing. Have you, what I would recommend, I'm not going to ask, have you seen it, because you may not have, but that there is on YouTube, you can search still face experiment. It's a like 3-minute video with Dr. Ed Tronick, who's going to be on the podcast very soon, actually. He conducted this experiment, the still face experiment, where baby and mom are playing together. And then the experimentator told the mom not to engage for a moment with the baby, and how the baby is reaching, trying to get the mom's attention. It's a really powerful experiment. And I would recommend you you watch that, before making decisions. I think
Sure.
it's a very powerful experiment about, separation, attachment, how we coordinate our emotions. And as he calls it,
Interesting.
the good, the bad, the ugly. The good
Mhm.
is when mom comes back and re-engages with the baby after a short, few seconds. Baby re-engages back again and is very happy to be with mom.
Mhm.
The bad is we all do this in our lives, right? We're engaged, there's separation, there's a balance. But the ugly is when there is no coming back or repairing, and the child is left like that in separation, in isolation. Their needs are not met, like on the grand scheme of things. So
Mhm.
I don't want you to feel bad for making a choice to go back to work, you know but it's again,
Right.
it's a careful decision that you need to make. And the nursing
That's
is a
interesting.
whole different thing. Yeah.
Oh, well,
Mhm.
I don't know much about the experiment, but while my husband was working from home because due to COVID, the office everyone was working from home, and we were in a smaller apartment. It would be really we would always comment, like, because we would be playing in the living room and he would be working in the room right next to us, and there wasn't any walls separating us. And she would like look over and start saying da 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 da, and like he'd be on a call or he'd be like busy, and we wonder like what that was doing to her. Luckily I was there to sort of pick her up and take it from there. But we wondered like what it was like for her to try to engage with him and him not be able to in such close quarters. I think she's okay, but it
I'm
was
sure.
something like it was a bit interesting. We were trying to think like how that was affecting her. But yeah, any tips you have for the nursing, I'm all ears.
Again, nursing is one of those personal decisions. Some people nurse for a long time, some people cut it, some people have to, some people can never nurse. And it's a hot topic. People
Mm,
shouldn't fight about this, honestly. Among moms, they shouldn't compare, they shouldn't blame for not nursing. Or I think it's such a personal choice. But it sounds like it's emotional for you,
mhm.
that part also. As much,
Yeah.
how do you feel about it? When do you feel like drained, you're giving, or do you enjoy it? What's your experience?
I kind of enjoy it just because it's sort of like a nice reset and rest for both of us. So, like, let's say she's getting a little cranky, and I've been like, we've been running around all day, and I'm trying to entertain her or give her something, just trying to have a regular day. Like it seems like she'll need a little bit of a break, and I'll need a little bit of a break, and so we'll just nurse for a little, and then she'll get off and she'll be able to engage with the toy a little bit more, and I'll be able to I have those like few minutes of rest so that I could keep up with her. So I definitely don't hate it. It's just sort of, I guess, I get a little embarrassed in social situations if let's say we're at the park or we're with my family and she'll just want to do it, like run a nurse right there and then. Especially because I think a lot of the mothers in my family, they're a lot more stricter and regimented than I am. And so like I think a lot of them bottle fed the baby from early on, and so the fact that I'm still nursing, I think, blows their mind. And so when I'm not the mom in control, in front of the other moms that seem to be in control, I feel a little discouraged. And again, like I'm doing something wrong. Like, have I been giving my daughter too much comfort? And so she is addicted to nursing and she doesn't really have the tools to sort of manage her own discomfort at this moment, like maybe another baby would. So a little bit of comparing, I guess a lot of comparing and feeling a little embarrassed.
Well, thank you for your honesty. I think I appreciate that. It's hard if you don't have that support from others who are around you and you're doing this and feeling guilty. I mean, it's so easy for me to say, take pride in your parenting choices and gain confidence. It's a lot easier to say that, but I know personally also when I was breastfeeding, and I breastfed until my daughter was 2, I was closet breastfeeding for a long time after 6 months because a lot of people around me were judgmental. Are you still breastfeeding? Poor you. They were feeling sorry for me. I'm like, why would you feel sorry for me? And especially elderly people, from a different generation, they would never understand. But I wasn't doing for other people. I think you need to get in touch with your values. What's important for you? What's your why? Why are you doing this? Because if you look outside, any choice you make in parenting, it's all going to be questionable. Trust me, like as a parent now, if I looked outside, I would question everything I do. And that's the tricky thing with parenting. The more you look outside, the more you give power to the outside voices, whether they're authority of some sort or experts or just regular people, you're going to lose yourself. And that's not a good feeling to have and parent from that feeling, right? The insecurity, the sense of inadequacy, I'm not good enough, I'm not confident, constantly doubt your parenting choices just because other people don't approve of your choices. That's not going to make you a confident parent. So I'm not sure how you can trust in yourself, trust in your child, regain that confidence and tune out the voices out there. It's a tricky thing. I don't have a set of tools or strategies. I think you need to learn to develop this on your own with time, but don't let them poke holes in your confidence. Just, it's going to hurt you more and your baby more. If you enjoy it, there is no harm in that, right?
Oh, that's cool. I like that thought.
There is no too much comfort. It's your baby. You love her. It's not a prescription or a dosage that you give her and you're done. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I guess my question is, that book that you recommended, Bottom Line Baby, does that go through like toddler years, or does it sort of end at like that? Does she provide all that scientific information up until like a certain age?
It's up a certain age. She sifted through everything, and she gives you bottom line information, what to do about.
I love that
about those things because if you listen, there are avid advocates for sleep training, experts and professional. Am I one of those? No, I am opposed to that. But you need to know like why. If you let your baby cry it out at night, then you're doing harm to your baby. Yes, you're training, quote unquote, but that training is not worth the damage that you're doing to your baby, to the nervous system, to the developing brain, to the attachment system. It comes with a hefty price tag if you're sleep training just to get good night's sleep. So you need to be aware of those major things, about sleep training, for example. I'm very adamant about this. It deeply affects the trust, the bond that you create during the day with your baby. And there's no need to let them cry if you're right there, available to be a source of comfort and protection, there's no absolutely need to torture your baby like that for the sake of quote unquote sleep training. That's completely harmful.
Yeah.
The nursing is a different thing. Some people are done. Like I have a neighbor whose baby is 18 months old and she's like, oh my gosh, I am so done. I hate it. I resent it. So if you're coming into the nursing from that kind of emotional place, then maybe it's time to stop it. But there are also advocates for baby-led weaning, and there's benefits to that. So again, I'm not suggesting put a duct tape on your breast or put spicy, whatever, hot sauce or spices to turn your baby off or things like that. Cruel methods of weaning the baby. I mean, if you wanted to wean off your baby, there are gentle ways of doing that. But again, why are you doing it? If you're enjoying, if it's beneficial for your baby, like what's your why? Just to please others so they won't judge you? Then that's not a good enough reason.
Yeah. No, that's very helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this is all, I guess like the theme is just it's just kindness. It's being kind to myself, being kind to my baby, and doing what's best for us.
Yes. And listening to yourself also and giving that voice space and having faith and trust in the process. Mothers have done this for centuries. And, if you want to pick up your baby, hold your baby. I have a friend who just had a baby and she contacted me. She says, what do you think? Is it okay to swaddle my baby? I'm like, I'm not an I'm a parenting professional. I can't tell you to swaddle your baby or not, but it's not a decision like you have to ask an expert, why, what's going to happen if you swaddle? What's going to happen if you not swaddle? Or she's like, she wants to be held, my baby, all the time. Like she wants to be close to you. There's nothing wrong with that. She's a newborn. She wants the warmth and the protection. She doesn't want to be in a crib in a big room left alone. It's like inhumane, certain things that experts quote unquote may suggest.
Absolutely. There's a lot of information out there, and I guess you just have to be confident in yourself to know what to listen to, because we had a baby nurse for a few weeks of my baby's life, just to sort of teach me how to take care of a baby. And she was very adamant on she had no pacifiers was her big thing. She didn't like pacifiers, and she had all these interesting rules, and I just couldn't understand them, because I was just like, but isn't it nice if the baby could just have find comfort for herself and all these different things? But I guess, I don't know, people just, I guess, are just trying to find ways to make it easier on the moms. And sometimes the advice is a little tough. It's tough on the baby, and you have to be a little tough as a person in order to do it.
Yeah, you have to have your child's best interest in mind based on the development and what we know from science about attachment and, child rearing. And you'll be all right if you do that. Babies are dependent on us for everything. Your baby's cry is a signal that she needs help, that she needs something. They have needs, and if you meet those needs consistently with responsiveness on a sensitive manner, your baby will calm down and learn to trust you, learn to trust herself, learn to trust the world. And the brain will develop in a beautiful way, as opposed to in a chaotic, alarmist type of way. Baby cries, no one comes. The mom is available. You're listening to the baby cry, but the expert suggested, no, wait 15 minutes before you go and help your baby. Why? Why wait if you're right there torturing yourself for the sake of what, right? So the sensitive, timely and consistent you are to your baby's earlier needs, the baby will learn to trust in themselves to communicate their needs effectively and have trust that the outside world is a safe place, that their needs are being met. The baby has needs. Yes, they depend on us. And there's this concept of co-regulation. It's, the baby needs you as a loving, compassionate, calm caregiver in order to regulate their own inner world when they get dysregulated by something that is bothering them. They cannot regulate themselves on their own. It's not going to come out of thin air. In order to learn that, they need to have this reliable source of codependency. They need to regulate with you together so that they can learn on their own eventually. And even then, as adults, we do still need other humans to co-regulate with us. When you are in pain as an adult, for example, when you are going through some rough time and you're emotional, when somebody sits down and listens to you and you see their compassionate facial expression, the look on their face, the comfort in their voice, the little touch that they offer you, you calm down, because that's how we coordinate our emotions, our nervous systems. That's how humans work. If you do it otherwise, then that's a cruel punishment. And if you do it to babies, oh my gosh, it's horrible. Like, that's the worst thing that you can do to a baby for the sake of training, whatever training that your agenda is.
Yeah, it's very funny you say that, because I definitely was I definitely, when Perry, as my daughter has been growing up, I have responded to, anytime she cries or anytime she's upset or uncomfortable, I'm very quick to respond. And at first I was like a little, I was upset. I was feeling a little guilty about it. Am I not letting her figure this out on her own, as does she need to at this age? But I happen to think that, I guess, from what you're saying, like, it's made her very vocal. Like, she's very good at, now that she's getting bigger, she's very good at telling me what she wants when she's all done, when she wants more. Like, I find that she sort of trusts language now, because she had to, anytime I was very responsive to her, anytime she would sort of, when she would cry, I would just respond. I think she just knows, I think that sort of taught her quickly, like, okay, when I say this, I will get this. So that's just, that was a very eye-opening moment. Thank you. Yeah.
No, so you need to be dependent in order to develop independence. The dependency stage is important for the development. On her own, she's not gonna, out of thin air, learn those important, complicated, complex skills. It's an expectation that is a terrible expectation to have, to let them figure it out on their own. It's against nature. They can't. They may. It will be traumatic. Right. It will be traumatic completely, and it's not going to be helpful. It's going to be really harmful. So, you need to attune to your baby. And if you have no capacity yourself, because there is life, there is stress, there is COVID, you have so many worries on your mind, you also need to have your own support system so that you can find comfort and support in other moms or humans or one person, so that you will be ready for your baby. You can't do this on your own and be 100% ready, resourceful, and giving. Then you're doomed for failure. As a smart woman, you need to also cultivate in your own well-being, in your own mental health, so that you will be better prepared to address the needs of your baby. Because on your own, isolated from the world, you're not superhuman. You need to be regulated also to help your baby and be responsive to your baby. If you have nothing, you can't give it to your baby. You're going to be annoyed, short-tempered, every need is going to affect you. So you need to have a good self-care routine in place. You need to have a support system in place. You need to shortcut certain things, meal prep or certain things that take up a lot of your time and are unnecessary maybe, or social media and stuff like that, so that you will have the bandwidth to give to your baby. And when you don't give to your baby, or when you don't have it, also forgive yourself and be easy on yourself and not wallow in self-criticism that you're not a good mom. It's all human. It's all human. Do you have questions, comments about everything that we're talking about?
No, this has actually been very helpful and definitely giving me the confidence to figure out how to, I guess, make decisions moving forward. And I guess my last question, and this is a pretty specific question, but it's sort of it's like when is, I guess, the like appropriate age? Like if it were a perfect world, like what would be a good age for me to feel comfortable sending my kid to school, or not be her the person she's dependent on the whole day?
If I were to give you a rough, my common sense, somewhat based in science, somewhat based in reality, if you're asking my personal opinion, I would say after 3 or 4 would be, if you have no absolutely opportunity, then that's okay. If you can hold off until, because the brain develops rapidly the first 3 years of life. The brain connections are happening rapidly, and the brain is a very experience-based organ. Whatever you are exposed to, whatever experiences are in your environment, the brain is quickly, learning to adjust to those experiences. So, and you are the architect of your child's brain. If you're home with your baby and not present with your baby, like I said, it could be equally harmful if you send your baby to preschool and they're not paying attention as much as individual attention, if you know what I mean. So if you're asking me, I would say age 3 and up, because your baby's brain is more or less developed for those important things. And then they can, because you are not sending your baby for learning. The learning happens every day. It's not for education that you're sending your baby to a preschool or daycare. You're sending them because you need to go to work, and you want that daycare, that preschool, to be a safe space, that they are using, relational based approach instead of behavioral approach to address the challenges. The ratio of child and teacher has to be less so that your child gets attention. You don't want to send your child to a place where there is like they're teaching the letters at age 3 and they're focusing on academic, success. You know what I mean? At that age, what's important is play-based, a loving caregiver that is always present. And socialization happens all the time. Some parents are like, oh, I'm sending because they can be with other kids. At that age, it's okay. I mean, your child is not going to be a misfit socially. They see people, they have parents, they have relatives, they have neighbors. You go to there's socialization happening all the time. It's just an excuse, sort of justification. But if you absolutely have to, I would say the first 3 years of life you can spend with your child, but also you have to be mentally healthy. You have to have resources for yourself, because if you're not present, then the quality of your time with your kid for the first 3 years of life may not be worth it. And I'm saying this like bluntly like this, because it's a big statement, if you're depressed, if you're sick, if you're worrying about other things, if you're not engaging with your child, if you're not exposing her to new things. If your child is not exploring the world and learning, if your child is on devices for the first 3 years of life in that kind of environment, that's harmful too. I'd rather have that child go to daycare, to preschool. At least he's exposed to those other things.
Right.
So I don't know if this is helpful to you.
No, it is. It is. It's helping me definitely put this into perspective, and it'll help me when I, sit down with my husband and we go over like the give and take for the, what we'd be gaining, what we'd be losing if I did go back to work. So I appreciate this. Thank you.
Losing and gaining emotionally, financially, you have to write down everything.
Yeah.
And you need to take a look at your values. Maybe certain things are not important to you. The things that are important to me, for example, again, it's very customized, and you need to use your common sense. It's easy for people to say, experts to voice their opinions, but there's also real life,
Yeah. It's just, I'll just, have to take what I learned and see how we could apply it to our reality. Yeah.
The main thing would be for you, I think, to learn to trust yourself, that you are the best mom for your kid. And you're not doing this to prove to others. You're not doing this for others to earn approval, validation, justification, or status outside.
Yeah.
You're doing.
I think once
baby.
I start, oh, sorry.
No.
Yeah, I think once I start to like think to myself, like anytime I start to recognize that I'm feeling guilty or embarrassed for the wrong reasons, I think as I do that a little bit more each day, I'll be able to trust my intuition. I think at that point I'll be able to trust my intuition, because right now I'm trying to listen to my gut and go with my intuition, but sometimes I just can't hear it. I don't, I'm unsure. I guess it's clouded by like all the stress and judgment, so I'm unable to like listen to myself. But I guess that's what I have to work on in order to listen to myself. Like, yeah. So all right, I'm excited about that. I think I'll be able to, now that I know what I need to really focus on, I hope that I'll be able to make a little bit quick turnaround.
And remember, there's no perfection. You're not aiming to be a perfect mom, a present mom, a connected mom, a loving mom, a compassionate mom. That's the aim,
Yeah.
There is it's not a performance. It's not the goal. You don't want to focus on the outcome. It's the process. It's the practice of parenting that you want to enjoy. And you can enjoy parenting. You want to be relaxed about certain things and let go of a lot of things also in order to just enjoy parenting. Yeah. You want to trust the right sources for information. But also, how much information do you need, really? Like, not that much, Know that it's critical. The first few years are absolutely critical, in being responsive and loving and caring and being present and not pushing your agenda on your kid, by just following the curiosity of this baby. The baby already is born with an innate ability to learn, to master skills, to learn language, to climb, to jump. All those things are hardwired. You just follow that natural lead and the curiosity, and try to see the world from your toddler's perspective. Everything is new and exciting. And once you join and discover the wonders, the toddler's years are the best. Like for me, I love that age. It's like you're growing with your child to see the wonders of the world and how the doorknob works, how the bottle works, how the cap on the bottle twists. Like everything is so new and novel. You don't have to do much, to be with your baby,
Yeah. No, that's very helpful. And it's just a great reminder. Like now I'm excited for her to wake up so I could just follow her around and see what she wants to see.
Yes. Instead of saying, no, we have to read now, we have to do this now, that's the
Right.
best time just to join her in her world. And
Hmm.
and if she picks up a little rock or a little stick or a little piece of paper and engages with it for 5 minutes, don't interrupt that process. I was
Hmm.
visiting a friend recently, who has that toddler, 18, 19 months old baby. And I was engaging with the baby, but the way he was engaging, right? I was following and being with him. And his mom was interrupting the whole time. She brought the food. She brought the food from the kitchen and she was trying to feed him while I was playing with him. And I was making a popping sound, right? I'm not going to say anything. It's like, why are you interrupting this beautiful process? Your child is engaged in giggling and discovering something new. This is not the feeding time,
Right.
or this is not the
Mhm.
time to say, let's read a book now. A lot of times parents are missing out by not being present. That would be my
Yeah.
biggest advice. Just drop into
Hmm.
the present moment with your toddler and see what's happening. Attune to your baby. The more you attune, the more in sync you will be, and you will know when she is tired, when she is hungry, when she needs a nap. It's such a
Yeah.
wonderful time, and, and and
Yeah.
and enjoy as much as you can.
I will. I anytime we walk by anybody who's been a parent, they keep telling me to enjoy it and that it goes really fast. So I'm definitely trying to do that.
Yeah, and those nursing moments that you said, it's such a beautiful mindfulness activity for both of you. Just to
Hmm.
unplug and settle for a moment. She's nursing, you are in a peaceful place, and hormones release in your body, in her body, the bonding hormone. And it's a
Hmm.
wonderful thing. So be as natural as possible, and don't try to industrialize parenthood, or rush the growth
Yeah.
and have an agenda. The beautiful thing about the toddler years is it's just, you need to just be there and enjoy,
Hmm.
and the growth will
Yeah.
happen.
Absolutely. Yeah. One day. Yeah. Absolutely. Awesome. Well, yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. I hope it was helpful. I really enjoyed chatting with you. I hope it was helpful to the listener. And I hope you are walking away with new insights, not so much tips, perhaps, but maybe you will
Right.
start to think about those topics that we talked about, covered in this episode, and you will find your own answers.
Yeah, I think so. I'm feeling a little bit more confident than I did before. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm sending you a big hug. Kara, reach out to me anytime you feel a boost in confidence. Join our Facebook community if you need to, and create a support system for yourself, which is important, with a few like-minded moms. If you have it in your circle, you'll be golden. You need that
Mhm.
support.
Oh, awesome. Well, thank you. I'll definitely check that out.
Great. All the best to you. Thank you.
Thank you.